So while talking about different states of chitta, we see that wandering shifta, forgetful mudha, occasionally steady or distracted vikshipta. These are not eligible for yoga, but the chitta which is one-pointed or ekagra and niruddha, restrained. One-pointed or ekagra means what happens here? The tamas and rajas become very, very less, and there is extreme sattva. In ekagra or one-pointed chitta, extreme sattva. Sattva is at the highest in such a person. Niruddha is a state where the person goes beyond the three gunas. So there is no fluctuation at all in the chitta. So we have been talking about the chitta. What is this chitta? Let's see that also. We will try to see the Sankhya chart. Do you recall what was on the Sankhya chart? Is it seen on the screen for you, Sankhya?
No, sir.
Now?
Yeah.
Yes. So when we talk about chitta includes 3, 4, and 5. What is 3?
Purusa, Prakriti, Mahat, Ahamkara.
Mahat. Number 3 is Mahat,
Mahat.
which is cosmic intelligence. 4 is Ahamkara or individual intelligence. And 5th is Manas or the mind. So when we talk about chitta, the state of samadhi always takes place in the chitta, which means it's Mahat, Ahamkara and Manas together. Mahat, Ahamkara and Manas together is chitta. Samadhi is the state of the chitta. It is not the state of the Purusha or consciousness. It's the highest state of Prakriti. So we have Shipta, Mudha, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Niruddha, and then Samadhi. Chitta Bhumi. Yes. The highest state of Chitta is the state of Samadhi. In this state of Samadhi, only there is differentiation between Purusha and Prakriti. So, Samadhi does not mean that you have realized Purusha or consciousness. It's simply a modification. A question here? So, in
Yes,
this
I have one.
Chitta, we see, if we can just mute all of us, it would be helpful. In this chitta, we see there is the tendency after there is nullification of all the vrittis to be in the state of samadhi. And in this state of samadhi, there is realization of the Purusha. But then we saw yesterday that students go to Sage Patanjali and they say that most of us are not eligible for studying yoga. What should we do? So Sage Patanjali guides them on to sadhana chatushtaya or 4 prerequisite disciplines. In these prerequisite disciplines, we talked about viveka and vairagya yesterday. We saw how detachment takes place. Sometimes a small event makes us turn inwards. Sometimes there is a big hit or some kind of trauma, unforeseen situation, where the first time we realize that we are limited. Whatever we have been thinking, whatever we thought is right, we are limited in some sense. So this realization that we are limited meets us in Madhyama Vairagya. And usually this is the time when we start our spiritual journey, which is the closest yoga or come for a TTC, so on and so. In this state, if we meet our teacher further takes us to Tivra Vairagya or intense Vairagya, where we absolutely have no attachment with any object in the world, but we are there still walking, still helping people, still doing our best bit, but our happiness is not dependent on any object. It is inherent, and this happiness turns into bliss. Bliss comes from simply understanding the permanent and non-permanent, real and unreal. Understanding that somebody who has a very limited time span or transaction in my life, how will this person bring happiness to me? Somebody who has a very short transaction with me, I cannot look for fulfillment from such a person or any other object of my choice.
Like, how do we know that they're only for some? I mean, everyone's for some time, but the time span, how would we count them? How little or how more?
So we yesterday discussed that the people we are born with into the family or the people we have a family with are for the highest duration of time. Apart from that, we don't know how long anybody will stay. We simply have to observe. Yes. Then from there, if Vairagya becomes strong, there is the practice of 6 sub-disciplines known as Samadhi Shatakam or Samadhi Shatakam. First is Shama or mind control. What is the object I am meditating upon? Don't think that it's only the yogi who's in samadhi. Go outside in the world. People are in different samadhis, but their samadhi is based on material objects. They are in that state of absolute no thought, but unfortunately, they are meditating on something which is very temporary. Nashwar hai. It is subject to modify and destroy. Therefore, each time that object modifies or changes, they are confused what's happening with them. So, mind control is the ability to understand what is the quality of my thoughts. Okay, I am practicing asanas. Fine, 23 days, 28 days. I do 200, 300 together, 2 months. After that, is there an upliftment in my state of mind? Has there been a change in my quality of thoughts? This observation of thoughts and control over the thought. A yogi is the one who is able to not listen to the mind and observe the mind. A yogi is the one who has no direction apart from the mind. So, the tendency to observe your own thoughts results in mind control known as Shama. Next is Dama, sensory control. Shama Dama. Dama means sensory control where you are able to bring minimalistic tendencies in your senses. If you like 10, 15 things to eat, you generally, try to reduce them to 5, from 5 to 3, from 3 to 2. If something you enjoy watching, this sudden realization, what is the outcome of the 2 hours of my life I'm spending? Out of the 24 hours, 8, 9 hours I rest. 2, 3 hours are for rest of the domestic, things which I need. So I roughly have about 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day if I have, 8 hours I may be working. 6 or 7 hours I may be occupied with something. Rest of the hours, what am I doing with this time? Am I watching something which is of no use to me, which is going to be destructive the moment I switch off the TV or laptop? Whatever was the experience, it ended there. I am back to where I was. So, this understanding and control over the senses is known as Dhamma. Where should I engage my senses? How much should I engage my senses? And how can I discipline my senses? Next is Uparati or sense of withdrawal. In Uparati, even if I am in midst of chaos, I must be able to find my balance. I must be able to withdraw in a crowd. A new spiritual seeker feels okay running away. to some place. Peace is in some place. Happiness is in some place. Meditation can only happen by Gangaji. When I come to Gangaji, actually in Rishikesh, rarely I go there once or twice. If I sit there chanting, what happens? Om, om, om. I start feeling cold. Then somebody comes and I say, oh, each time I come here, these tourists. Yes, somebody has to come and chatter and disturb my peace. So, sensory withdrawal is to be able to make this withdrawal wherever you are, irrespective of the crowd. In any situation that you go, any situation that you deal, wherever you are, you must be able to selectively choose what you want to listen to, what you don't want to listen. There are so many voices in the world. How many will you listen and how many will you respond to? So choose the voices in your life to whom you would like to respond. Rest of the voices will keep raising and they will keep falling. So your response to which voices, whose voices must be very, very clear. Such is the path of sensory withdrawal, where you not only withdraw, but you become very, very selective with the senses. Titiksha, tolerance of opposites. What are the pairs of opposites, Titiksha? Titiksha, also known as tapascharya, dvanda sahana. There are three pairs of dualities. First is kaik dvanda, which is hot and cold, sensation of hot and cold. Second is known as pranik dvanda, hunger and thirst. And third is known as manasik dvanda, happiness and suffering. So tolerance of these opposites at the level of body, at the level of prana, at the level of mind is known as titiksha. Something is happening which I absolutely do not like and do not want. This is the time which decides if I am a yogi or not. This is the time which decides if I am a meditator or not. If I want to test how much I have progressed throughout the years, it is this time where something is happening exactly contrary to what I wanted it to be. How am I observing this situation and how am I dealing with this situation? If I am able to tolerate that, which means I have increased my tolerance of opposite, which means for me, opposites will soon start dissolving. Everything will be at the same pedestal. Opposites will start dissolving. This is known as titiksha, tolerance of opposites. Yogis go to Himalayan mountains and they also sit in the desert just to work on this titiksha. They call it tapascharya or tapas. What is tapas? Tapas is dvanda sahanam. Dvanda means duality. Sahanam means enduring. Enduring duality is tapascharya. So why do they sit in the snow-clad mountains and then in the desert? Because they want their body to be the same. Even in the extremes of the climate, there is no disease for the body. Why are they eating only once a day, drinking water only once a day? Because they want hunger and thirst not to be the reason of disturbance during sadhana. We naturally tend to feel hungry, maybe 3 hours. At least once we think about food when we meditate. So from where does this thought of food or thirst come? So yogi works on that first. See, all this is happening before your asanas. The sadhana chatushtaya, before the practice of yoga, the student is required to work on all of this. Tolerance of opposites. Somebody said something to me. I decided my morning is ruined. Come on. People will give you what they have to give. That's all they have. You give them what you can give them, what you have, which is givable. Or don't give them anything at all. Just simply say, Shanti, Shanti, that's all. So, titiksha or tolerance of opposite must be developed. Then, samadhana. mind concentration, the seeker must start taking at least 1 or 2 hours of the day, concentrate on one object. Now, this can be your hobby also. This can be something you like doing. This can be cooking. This can be gardening. This can be your profession or work also. Allow the mind to immerse itself into that only activity. So this concentration must be increased. Somebody takes a flame of a candle. When we meditate, we use different objects of meditation. What are they for? Concentration of the mind. From state of many thoughts, bringing the mind to one thought. This concentration, concentric. What is concentration? Center, yes. Cone comes from cone or narrowing down. Centric, centering. Narrowing down, centering your awareness, funneling your awareness. So, samadhana is mind, concentration, and finally, shraddha, faith in scriptures. What does shraddha mean? Faith in what you are studying. We cannot go on questioning everything. Is this written? Is it true or false? Or is this right or wrong? This is not written out of the thought. Usually we write from the thoughts. This is something which has appeared to the one who has systematized this study, and this is practiced knowledge which we are studying. It's not some literary novel that we are discussing here. This is practiced knowledge. These are experiences and practices which have been systematized for us. So there must be this faith in the scriptures, this shraddha in the heart, that whatever I am studying, I just need to stick to it. The teacher and the scripture, it's their duty now, how to lead me onto the path. The scriptures will take care of themselves. The teacher will take care of me. I simply have to be there and have this faith that I will be guided correctly. These are Shataka Samadhi or 6 sub-disciplines. If there is a question, you can ask for now. If there is no question, very good. We can progress on to Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva is desire for liberation. Okay, Viveka is there, Vairagya is there, Shataka Samadhi is there. But there is no desire for liberation. What's the use? Is this person fit for spiritual practice? No. See, now having a spiritual teacher is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You must understand, having a spiritual guidance or a spiritual teacher or guru is a necessity. It's not a luxury. It's extremely necessary for us to have someone who is able to help us connect with our own spirit, who we are, who discusses the spirit and consciousness with us, who discusses the topic which is going to help us the most. So, spiritual teaching or a spiritual teacher is a necessity. Having understood this, there must be desire for liberation. What is desire for liberation? That I want to experience the highest during this lifetime. What is the highest experience of life? It cannot be wealth or money for sure, because many people who have been there, they simply said, no, this is not the highest experience. So this understanding that as long as I live, I want to have the highest experience that life can offer. And that highest experience is freedom or liberation. Freedom from thoughts, from all the bondages which I have created. More my thoughts reduce, the world starts diminishing. Each of us have our individual world. The more our thoughts in the mind start diminishing, this world also starts diminishing, the bondage also starts reducing. So this understanding is mumukshutva. This is the desire for liberation. In mumukshutva also we see 3 levels. Manda mumukshutva. When you meet somebody or you listen about what is liberation, perhaps you read it in the school, in the textbook. I'm sure Gautama, the Buddha, Bhagwan Buddha was mentioned somewhere, and you read this or heard this enlightenment or liberation, for a very small time, it remained with you. I want to know what is enlightenment. What is this spirituality? Why is there so much light depicted halo behind people, who are practicing spirituality? What exactly is happening with them? So, Manda Mumukshutva is desire for liberation, which is just a seed. Perhaps you were reading something or somebody mentioned it in passing and it stayed with you. And you felt like knowing more about what it was. So there was longing, but a very tiny, very small longing for knowing more about what is liberation, enlightenment. The second is known as a madhyama or a medium, mumukshutva, desire for liberation. This stems up when you meet somebody who is on that path. So maybe you meet a spiritual teacher, maybe you've gone for a satsang, you're there for a spiritual discourse, and you meet somebody and you instantly feel something has changed within me. There is something, there is some desire within me, but this is not the desire of senses. This is more like a longing. It's more like I'm waiting to get somewhere. I don't know what that destination is, but I'm waiting to get somewhere. So this thought that I want to get somewhere and this thought that I want to continue with the person I've just met. I want to be in that state of mind. I want to be in that state of studies. Whatever peace that person is carrying is madhyama, mumukshutva, desire for liberation. Because you have now started acting. There is no thought, there is also action. And lastly, we see uttama or intense mumukshutva, where you say that whatever is my life, out of that, at least 1 hour, 3 hours, 2 hours a week, I am going to dedicate for my own spiritual practice with my teacher. Maybe I'm going to live for 50 years. Out of those 50 years, at least 10 years, I want to know more about who I am, where I am, what I am doing. This is intense or uttama mumukshutva, where you don't want anything else. There is no purpose left in the world. Whatever is happening with you, it's naturally happening. Whatever has to rise will rise. Whatever has to end will end. Whatever has to start will start. But you are absolutely unaffected. You only say, I have nowhere to go. I have nothing more to achieve in life. This is all I want. Liberation is the only longing. Understanding who I am, understanding the nature of life, and freeing myself with the help of this understanding and knowledge is all I want. This is Tama or intense mumukshutva. These are the four prerequisite disciplines. Any questions here? You can ask. If not, very good. Just write them down. You can share it with me later. Further, this verse also talks about sampragyat and asampragyat samadhi.
You said one thing, that someone who is practicing Vivek, Vairagya, and six Shatra Samadhi can also desire liberation. Is that possible? If someone drinks so much and not wanting to?
Yes, we will meet so many people in life who are very good as people. They are detached also. They have fulfilled their duty. They don't expect anything from anyone. They are into spiritual studies, but they don't know what they are there for. There is no guru. There is no longing for a teacher. So maybe they read.
There is no law.
There is no longing for liberation.
But in the startup direction also, there is about reading scriptures, about, detachment is that. So automatically that wanting to know more or where is this path going automatically starts coming. So
Yes, but there is no longing for desire. So it's like, okay, maybe this birth, this is fine. Next birth, I will see what is to be done. For now, I am doing enough spirituality. I am happy where I'm the best amongst all people I know. Whatever I'm doing, reading, yes, chanting the Bhagavad Gita, 2 verses is enough for me. But chanting the Bhagavad Gita, what is the effect of that chanting? It's simply the instrument. What is the effect? This effect is not mapped. When this effect of all the spiritual practice is not mapped, which means there is no intense desire for longing. So, what's more important here is intense desire for liberation. When you have intense longing for something, you don't postpone it, you want it urgently. When you want this spiritual progress, when you want this liberation urgently, this is the only time when you actually start feeling you're guided in different ways. So, spiritual urgency needs to be felt. For that, awareness of the spiritual crisis must be there. That anything outside is not going to solve what I'm feeling right now. It's only the understanding of my own mind, my own nature is going to help me. So, why Sage Patanjali is working on the mind so much? Because samadhi is the best state of mind. So Sage Patanjali is not giving us a knowledge which is from the outside. What is discussed here is our own mind and how to reach the best potential of the mind. Rest will take care of itself. We have that ability to discriminate between Purusha and Prakriti. But the mind must be taken to the highest level through the state of Samadhi. So Sage Patanjali therefore did not talk about anything else, just said the mind. You take care of the mind. You reach the level where there are no thoughts. You don't have to do anything. Your own mind and reduction of your thoughts. Just two. Just work on these two. And to understand how to reduce these thoughts or vrittis of the mind, all of this is being discussed. So you don't need anybody from the outside to help you understand who you are. You just need a spiritual teacher to ensure you're not making a mistake on this path. You're being guided correctly. You're not wasting your time in the pursuit of spirituality.
So when that urgency is there and there is no teacher, automatically a teacher comes in your life.
Appears. I had a spiritual urgency. So I had Manda Vairagya for a while, then Madhyama. And then I said, it's been 6 months. I have not met my guru yet. I'm not able to study Shastras. I am leaving Rishikesh and things like that. And when that spiritual urgency and that I remember I was sitting at Gangaji with that strong intention or sankalpa that I have come here. What all I have, just given up at the material level. I don't even know how do I go back and where do I start. I've given up the best of the experiences people could offer me. Best of the people, the kindest of people, I had to step away from them. So I'm here and I'm sitting in this 6 months and extremely furious as to why have I not met my teacher yet. And like a person who is absolutely directionless, I start visiting each ashram. I've literally gone and searched for my teacher in every ashram. Most of them, sometimes the head teacher was not there. Sometimes I was driven out. It's not a place for women. Things like that. So in that state of spiritual urgency, then I out of nowhere I was guided and told to meet my teacher in so and so place, and everybody seemed to know me and know what's going to happen with me, except me. But get there to be guided in that way, that spiritual urgency was necessary for me that I don't want anything else in life. When I was clear that I don't want anything else in life, then just to realize who I am, why I am the way I am, and what's exactly happening. What is the world? What's exactly happening with me? What's exactly happening with it? So, in this state of spiritual urgency, You call it intense desire for liberation, and then you meet your teacher. Otherwise, if you don't have this intense desire for liberation, you will take the knowledge for granted. Teacher may be available, but how we do on the YouTube videos? Whenever we want, we pause it. Whenever we want, we play it. So if this spiritual urgency is not there, knowledge will be there, but you will not be able to help yourself. Therefore, Sage Patanjali says, come to the level of ekagra, where you only want one thing, which is liberation. And in this state of mumukshutva, intense desire for liberation, you begin the study of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, or what I am sharing. Now, in Samadhi also, we see two Sampragyata and Asampragyata Samadhi. Sampragyata Samadhi is the one with a seed or one with an object. Sampragyat is the one without the object. Meditation. So Samadhi with the help of a support with an object, and finally even dropping that object, and there is no thought at all. You become like a clean, transparent mirror. You meet someone, simply that person's thought are manifested through you. You have no thoughts of your own. You must have observed many yogis are able to read minds of people. From where does it come? They themselves are in a state which is very, very transparent. So naturally, when somebody meets them, this thought of these persons are reflected through them. They become mirror-like, very, very clean and transparent. So, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, now means after having practiced Viveka, Vairagya, Shataka Samadhi, and Mumukshutva. After that means now Yoga Anushasana. Yoga, which is equal to Samadhi, Anushasanam, discipline begins. Atha Yoga Anushasana. With this, we conclude the first sutra. We will chant the second sutra together. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is chitta vritti, removal of the vrittis of the chitta. What is the chitta together? The Mahat, which is cosmic intelligence, Ahamkara, which is individual intelligence, and Manas or mind together. All these three are known as Chitta, and this is where the tendencies or vrittis fluctuate. Yes, so yoga is Chitta vritti, cessation of these tendencies completely. How is this cessation? Let's see. Naturally, when there are vrittis or modifications in the chitta, they are because of three gunas. What are the three gunas? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So, beyond these three gunas, there are hardly any vrittis left. So, cessation of these three gunas is the cessation of vrittis. from sattva also going beyond the state of doing good or being good. So there is no more light or darkness. All of it becomes very, very same. This is the state of niruddha, chitta vritti, nirodha, as we see. Why is it said restrain or nirodha? What is mind? Something which is free? Jainism says Jainism is one of the which kind of philosophy? Orthodox or heterodox? Buddhism, Jainism, Charvaka.
Heterodox. Heterodox philosophy.
Heterodox, yes. So Jainism says the Atman or the self, the Purusha is expandable, which means says the elephant is going to have a bigger consciousness, than the consciousness of an ant. So it says consciousness is expandable, stretchable. Yoga philosophy nullifies that point, contradicts that point by saying chitta is expandable. Understand this. It is not the Atman or the self or the consciousness or Purusha which is expandable. It is the chitta which is expandable or which contracts. So the more tendencies rise up, what happens? The chitta expands. How do you feel? Your mind is full of thoughts. If there are no thoughts, you're actually simply in awareness of the body. The mind automatically contracts. Like when you go to sleep, what happens to the chitta during that time? Tendencies are there, thoughts are there, but what happens? It contracts. Now, understand this very carefully. Each time you meet a person or come in contact with the object of the world, underlying vrittis or modifications are manifested. Means what? If there is anger present in me, somebody comes in front of me, that anger is reflected. So, the objects in the world, including people, are simply helping me manifest my own vrittis, and that is the purpose of life, to exhaust the vrittis. Vrittis are modifications. We will see pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti. So each time a person comes in front of me, I'm in contact with every object. Objects acts as an instrument for me to manifest my vritti. Therefore, it is said the institution of marriage is for chitta shuddhi, because all the vrittis that are inherent, the person helps you, your partner helps you exhaust those vrittis. It is said karma yoga is helpful for exhaustion of vrittis. So when you are in karma yoga, what happens? First, you judge people. In any karma yoga you do, you're never doing it happily. The first week, you're absolutely angry about what am I doing? I did not clean my own room in my own house. There were servants helping me out. What am I doing here? So, karma yoga and many people you come in contact with, they help you exhaust your vrittis. And from where these vrittis or thoughts or vasanas, as we call it, vasanas are what? Something hidden within you, the desire to act in a certain way. But where is it? Deep inside us. Somebody meets us and that desire is manifested. The moment the person meets us, it is manifested, it exhausts.
G. Then how come different? How come you have different vrittis with different people? You don't have the same reaction or the same feeling with different people who come in front of you. So someone can bring out maybe frustration in you, or when you see like most people bring out compassion or kindness, but then there are certain individuals who just bring out other things.
Yes, that is the purpose of Karma Yoga. With the help of people, you understand what are the vrittis present in you. So if there is a vritti for samadhi also, perhaps there is a tendency within you for the state of samadhi or liberation. Who brings that up? When you meet your teacher or you meet, someone who brings that vritti up within you. It is already within you. It's present within you. Nobody gives you anything from the outside. So the purpose of karma yoga or being in the world, why are we interacting with so many people in the world? So that we understand which are the vrittis we presently have. It can be kindness, it can be compassion, it can be love, it can be lust, it can be desire, it can be anger, it can be simply spiritual progress. And when we understand these are the present vrittis, if we are studying Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, I am not simply going to share with you for you to only listen to this or Shravana. With Shravana, now naturally from tomorrow onwards, you will start observing your vrittis, and this is the power of this text. So, our contact with the world and people here help us understand which are the vrittis or what is the exact state of my senses and mind right now, what I need to work on. How can I exhaust these vrittis? Some people say, I have very few people in my life. So some people choose to exhaust their vrittis with the help of only 5 people. Somebody chooses to exhaust only with the help of 1 person. With this person, you get angry, you feel happy, you feel sad, you feel loved, you feel everything. You feel lust, you feel desire, everything with this 1 person. And therefore, a mutual respect grows towards this person. Because this person is unknowingly helping you exhaust all your vrittis. So we have a choice whether we should exhaust vrittis with many people who come and go. Naturally, what happens? After 30, 40 years, you feel, I don't want to do anything for anybody. You go to any Indian family, knock any door. I think every other family in the world too. You will see people saying it when they're in their 40s and 50s, saying, I don't want to do anything for anybody, I want to do things for myself now. Why? Because this vritti of doing has been exhausted. So either we allow the entire world and different people to enter into our life and help us exhaust the vrittis, which is the purpose of existence, a purpose of a birth. Or then we choose people with whom we want to exhaust these vrittis, because only when these vrittis are exhausted, again I'm sharing, what are vrittis? The hidden desires or tendencies that we have. Vrittis are tendencies that we have. When these tendencies are exhausted, only then our karmic transactions are over. Only then we feel settled and balanced. Until then, we will feel like we are jogging and juggling. As long as there is this vrittis which are upsurging in the chitta again and again, you will feel you're off balance. The moment these vrittis have been exhausted, you will feel okay, I feel steady and stable in my life now. I have greater control over my mind. Some people say, I am exhausting my vrittis by seeing everything in Krishna. My friend, my brother, my mother, my parent, my love, everything. This is Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhakti Yoga? Exhausting all the tendencies that you have. In Bhakti Yoga, you also dance and sing very much. You enjoy the Kirtan, you enjoy the Shravana, you enjoy Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, along with that Padasevan, Kirtana. namasmarana. So you exhaust all the tendencies that you have in one direction. But if we look at all the text, exhaustion on these tendencies or vrittis is emphasized. When it comes to Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, we are applying the practice of yoga, the 8 limbs for Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is the difference between a yogi and a ayogi? A yogi is making use of the world and people around to exhaust these vasanas, these tendencies or vrittis, but a yogi is taking help of the 8 limbs to exhaust these vasanas. Now we are transitioning from a yogi to yogi. All these years, we've allowed everybody around us to help us know more about our vasanas, which are to be exhausted. Now we are treading the path of yoga, where we are going to look at chitta vritti nirodha with the help of yoga, with the help of the study of the yoga, which is prescribed by Sage Patanjali. Is it very difficult to understand? Just because these are Yoga Sutras, we have to go very slow. Samadhi Pada is the biggest chapter. After Samadhi Pada, we cover usually 2-3 sutras, sometimes 4 sutras in a day. But Samadhi Pada needs to be understood very correctly. It is the foundation. So, since it's Samadhi Pada, everything closer to Samadhi is talked about. What is the first sutra? Atha Yoganushasanam, discipline. And why this discipline? Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This discipline towards what? Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What will happen with Chitta Vritti Nirodha will be said in the further sutras. If you have a question, you can ask. Question? Which means either you have understood everything or you have understood nothing.
The later.
This is also possible. We've understood nothing, but simply we are sitting for the Shabda Sanskar. It's all right, don't worry about
Ma'am,
No, it's just letting it settle.
is it chitta above the mind or within the mind?
it. Chitta consists of 3 planes. We talked about a Sankhya. In Sankhya, we discussed the Manas and Ahamkara and Mahat. Do you recall?
Yeah.
You want me to share the screen?
I recall. Would be easier if you.
Yes. I can share with you. Can you see this, all of us?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Purusha and Prakriti are the reality. Under Prakriti, we see when Purusha and Prakriti come together, cosmic intelligence, then individual intelligence known as Mahat and Amkara, and Manas, the 5th, are together. So whatever is taking place at the level of this Chitta. Chitta means these 3 together. Because indriyas of cognition, of action, senses, they act according to what happens in the chitta. So from 6 to 25, it's an effect of what is happening in 3, 4 and 5. Whatever is the vritti in 3, 4 and 5, the human body is simply, the Annamaya Kosha is simply the instrument for manifesting this vritti outside. The vritti is taking place in 3, 4 and 5. So perhaps you have practiced yoga in your we are ancient beings. You have practiced many, many times. When you came to Rishikesh, in at the level of mind, which when you go to sleep is in the state where you go to sleep, the mind is not working. But this seed which is already present in the chitta, with your practice of previous births, all of this came up together. Now, where was this seed? In Mahat and Ahamkara, in the chitta together. Chitta, Manas will have very recent memory, but Mahat and Ahamkara have your ancient memory with it. So this ancient memory was reflected, manifested when given an opportunity by the mind in the present. If you would have been a person who had never practiced or there was no interest, there are many people who come for TTC and never again practice yoga in their life. Which means the vritti is new. It's very weak. So many people who come for TTC who are, they go through the course, perhaps they practice only asanas, but that's all. And some of them don't even practice asanas or never think of taking this spiritual path. But very few for whom in the chitta this sanskara has been there. You must have heard this term samskara. What is samskara?
Instincts.
It's this preconditioned knowledge. It's something which is ingrained within you like a seed. This samskara, it rises when at the temporary level, mind is able to cognize something. It finds familiarity with the cosmic intelligence and individual intelligence, and accordingly all your senses, Gyanendriya, Karma Indriya, and Tamsika Ahamkara, all of these start. I hope you were able to understand, Hitesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Chitta is three together. What you're watching right now, what you're listening right now, and if you have done that before, how it's acting on you. Because the text is same, the teacher is same, but for every student, its understanding and application is going to be different. Why is that so? Because it's the purity of the chitta, depending on how heavy is the vritti in the chitta, how light it is.
Heavy is good or bad? Heavy is what does heavy mean?
I mean, too many thoughts, too many vrittis.
The chitta is constant, or vrittis fluctuate, or based on vrittis fluctuation, chitta fluctuates as well. Does it?
No. Understand chitta as a battlefield, and all the vrittis are the soldiers into it.
And the way the chitta is formed is based on like the entire ancient knowledge.
Yes, samskara. See, because present life, you have cognizance and intelligence, but there is some memory which you cannot explain. Therefore, you have innate longing for something, even if it's new to you.
Right.
Because there is a lot of karmic transaction happened at that level before. So, innate knowledge versus this fresh knowledge, what you're getting.
And vrittis are more like.
Yes, Jalpaji. Hitesh, just a moment. We'll have to put you on hold. Yes, Jalpaji.
Yeah, Hitesh can go, it's fine. I can ask after.
Please go ahead. I take time to sink in as well. Go ahead.
So our karmic transactions, apparently, is it stored in our samskaras?
Yes. So our samskaras are shaped as per our karmic transaction. Whatever is the karmic transaction, we need to exhaust in the present birth. Our tendencies would be accordingly. Whatever is the storehouse of karma, our tendencies, the way of life, bent, mind would be according.
So, Bhagyashree ji, so vrittis are not in our hands, but how we exhaust them would be in our hands then.
Yes. Exhaustion of vrittis takes place only due to spiritual practice. Exhaustion of vrittis Otherwise, what happens? There are karmic transactions, but they leave an after effect on your mind. But when you are in spiritual practice, any transaction you are going through in the material world, you exhaust that transaction without any vritti in your mind. Are you able to understand this difference? When you are in the spiritual practice, you are going through karmic transactions. We said people meet us, vrittis, rise up, something happens. These vrittis are exhausted. In the spiritual practice, these vrittis don't have any kind of impression left behind. Vrittis are exhausted, which means they don't leave an impression behind. But a normal person in the world, every karmic transaction that takes place, this person has more and more impressions on the chitta, more and more impressions with this transaction. So person does not feel that this is ending or I'm exhausting. Person feels I'm starting this. Oh, she said something to me. Now I must say something to her. The yogi will simply observe every transaction as exhaustion of the vrittis and there is no impression left behind. That is free. Okay, acha ho gaya, khatam ho gaya. It's a very good thing. I went through something, it ended for me. This understanding is very, very clear. So, chitta shuddhi ke liye, to finish off the vrittis quickly, family is given. It's very difficult, because they are the source of both to you, struggle as well as happiness. So naturally, when you're born, you're put with people with whom you have to exhaust these tendencies. Moment they are exhausted, you start distancing away from them. Naturally, you go away from them. Sometimes you meet someone, you feel they're going to be there with you for a lifetime. But that transaction ends in a very short time, a few years. But you're okay with life, you move on. How does this happen? You're free of those vrittis. There is no impression left behind. So, exhausting the vrittis with the help of many people or exhausting the vrittis with the help of 8 limbs of yoga is the choice we are making in the present. How are we doing this chitta vritti nirodha? In the next session, we will talk more about what are these vrittis, what is the nature of the vrittis, how can we differentiate them. But for now, vritti is there. Just this understanding is important. Vritti is reflected when that object comes in front of us. In certain things within us, even we don't know they were present. But suddenly they manifested themselves very brightly in the presence of some object. This is the role of the world. This is the idea. We are here with the help of the world, observing who we are. We are not here to know the world. We are here to know ourselves with the help of the world.
Mom, I have a question. I'm
Yes,
a little
please.
confused now. I thought that I did understand last time what are the vrittis and chitta, but now no. I thought in my mind I did understand that chitta is like a storage of impressions, that when something happens, those impressions come out of us and are our reactions.
Yes.
Right? And so vrittis are the things that make those impressions coming out of us. So those
Vrittis are
reactions.
impressions.
And so what is chitta? Chitta is the storage of vrittis?
Storage of the vrittis, yes.
Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
Chitta is the storage of the vrittis. So when this vritti rises up, a yogi observes, okay, this vritti was there. Need not act accordingly. Let me save the effort of having some impression. Okay, this was there. Got it. Anger was there. Okay. Revenge was there. Hurt was there. Emotion was there. Love was there. Whatever was there. Okay.
Thank you very much.
What happens when all the vrittis go for a monks? There is compassion. What is there? Compassion for the ones who are still struggling with the vrittis. Therefore, we will see many of the monks. How are they? Very, very loving and kind. They don't say now, okay, I have been liberated, I am going out of the world. They say it's my now time to be in the world and help others get rid of the vrittis. So this compassion is only left behind because there is pure observation without judgment, without association of the self with every event. The yogi sees how the world is governed by vrittis. Each person means vrittis. Person is equal to vrittis. If you are able to observe those vrittis in that person, both, whatever vrittis are present, do know they are also present in you. Therefore, you have to exhaust them mutually with the help of each other. Spiritual vritti also. What is this longing for liberation? This is also a vritti. Ultimately, this also needs to be dropped. Too many thoughts for the next week. I will try to have a notes on this so you can visit them. All of them put together, last class and today's class. So you have something to reflect and study before we meet again in the next week. If there are no more questions, should we conclude today's session? Bring your palms together at the heart center. We will chant the mantra Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Prajyate Purnasya
Om
Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down. Feel grateful for this practice. Thank all your gurus, Sage Patanjali. Thank yourself for choosing this path. When you're ready, gently lift your head up, open your eyes, look down first towards the floor, externalize. Namaste. We meet again in the next week. Take very good care of yourself until then, and try to make it a live session.
Okay.
Lots of love and light. Hari Om.
Take care too, Leo.
Take care.